I'm Rick Holtz, and this is my wife, Colleen. We met when we were kids, and the rest is history. We had 6 kids, and then adopted 5 more from Costa Rica. Life with 11 kids is interesting, to say the least. Every day is a new adventure. This is Holtz. This is our 2-year update from our adoption, for our adoption, and we wanted to give everybody an update, kind of what we're experiencing, what we're seeing. We also wanted to give you a little bit of the insight from the kids' perspective. I think that they're at a point now where they feel comfortable talking under camera.
And they can speak English, so that's a big deal.
Yeah. A year ago, or even 6 months ago, I don't know that they would have done so well under camera, but we've really just worked at just bringing out their personalities, not for the purpose of camera, obviously, but you can we've definitely seen just some huge improvements in the kids. Our family dynamic has just improved dramatically.
Their confidence has really grown, I feel like.
Yeah, we're really
past 2 years.
Yeah, it's been incredible to see their growth and the growth of our family as a whole and as a unit, really solidifying and becoming a central unit, or a central family unit. It's been really neat. I would say that we are all one now. I think when you start the adoption process, you get a lot of my bios, these are my biological children, and these are my adopted children. And I very much feel that we are a complete family. There really is no segmentation other than their skin is a little tanner than ours, and so we joke about things like that. But they truly, we truly are a solidified family, which is really neat to see, to take 2 very different backgrounds and bring them together and to make it work. So this is a little highlight of kind of where we are, and also I think we've received a lot of questions. We've talked to a lot of adoptive parents that are in the process of adoption, post-adoption. We've answered a lot of emails, and we are more than happy to do that. We love to talk to families, but these videos are going to kind of highlight some of those questions that we've been getting from a lot of different families, and we hope to answer those and go through that, and also let you see from the kids' perspective and let them answer some of the questions as well. So we've had great success with integration, and I think our situation is a little different. We're a little unique, and I think everybody's situation here is going to be different. So there's no formula that works perfect for every family. Every family is a little bit different. You have to really figure out what works for your family. We were fortunate in that we had 6 biological children that were in very similar age to the children that we adopted, and we worked really hard to integrate and to work with them.
Yeah, well, and I feel like they, our newly adopted kids would watch how we would discipline and get on to the bios, and they just were like, you could see it on their face. They would know, like, okay, don't do that, check.
Yeah, it's like they were making mental notes,
along,
watching how we were disciplining our biological children, or how we would engage with our biological children. We didn't change anything. No. We didn't up the game or anything like that. We just let them watch and learn how we handle things. They got to learn that we don't tolerate anything but first-time obedience. If we tell you one time, we expect you to do what we've told you to do. And you can see the mental triggers, and you see them making notes, and it was neat to see. And then they kind of start falling in line. Also, the kids, the biological children, would kind of, in a sense, put not intentional pressure, but you could see that there was a pressuring of the children to act a specific way. They would be like, "Mom and Dad ain't gonna like that," and you kind of get that element of things.
Yeah, in a way, I felt like they
they were
kindly coached and helped train too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but our integration has been phenomenal. But and I know there's families out there that are really struggling, and that is really, really difficult. I think we do have a lot of things that have worked in our favor that I think have really aided with our integration. I can only speak to what I know what we did. And what we did was from the application process and from every step of the process, we included all of our biological children in the process.
Decisions.
And even the decision-making process. Like, we would not move forward as a family in anything unless we decided on it as a family. And that included even down to child selection, when we would be presented children. And then we would pray about it as a family. We would seek the Lord, but we would not move forward unless we were unanimous as a family going forward. And then we would discuss about the difficulties of how hard this is going to be. We wanted them to be prepared. Like, your bathroom is going to be...
You're going to share clothes or shoes or, I mean, it's just toys, your room.
You're in the middle.
Wow, you're huge.
Watch out, y'all.
So let's go back. Let's go back before y'all were adopted and before we adopted. Were you afraid? If so, what were you afraid of? Kelsey?
No, I wasn't afraid. I knew it would be hard, but I was all in, and I'm okay with that. It being hard isn't a problem. So.
Not worried about changes?
No.
Not worried about giving up your bathroom? Girls are particular about bathrooms.
No.
Jacob, what about you? Like, so you're coming from the other side, the other perspective, and you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know. And like, I tried to, going through adoption is like, to put myself in your shoes. What you're feeling. What were you feeling?
I was a little scared because I didn't know about anything about my new family. And yeah, I was kind of scared. And I was scared to make the decision about myself being adopted.
Yeah, leaving your country.
Yeah.
And everything you know, yeah.
All right.
I wasn't scared at all. I feel like as a family we had really discussed it enough to be like, you know, we had like come up with like every scenario, like, hey, this could like not, you know, this could change our family dramatically in some ways that we might not see coming or whatever. But I wasn't really scared for it because, I don't know, I just had a peace about it, and I was fine with whatever happened, and I was excited to bring new kids into the family and have new siblings, and yeah, I wouldn't say I was scared.
I want you to talk about the kids individually. So
Benjamin made me work really hard to get attention because he was just in Costa Rica. It was papa. And I was like, come here, let mama snuggle. And he would only let me, you know, hold him in a towel and keep him warm or change his clothes. Or I was the one that was like, I guess, serving him in a way. But now, I mean, he's such a big helper. He's a lover. He's sweet and kind. He'll just come up and just give me a quick kiss on the cheek and run away. And
He's a handful, though. He love.
What do you mean by a handful?
Handful means that he wants to be a big helper. Like, he wants to work with the older boys. Like, if I'm out working, he wants to be right there with me, and he's grabbing tools and bringing me stuff. I'm like, I don't need that. We'll put it back. Or it's
but not a handful on he's gonna have a temper tantrum.
No, not at all. And he's very obedient, but he will push the lines to see how far you'll let him, how much you'll let him get away with. Next is
Evelyn.
Evelyn is, I would say, a blossoming flower.
Yes.
She was a very reserved. She was very protected, very guarded. She, of all of our children, probably came with the most fence around her, a barrier around her. And it took a lot to break through that barrier. And even now, it's still, we have to really connect with her. And
I mean, I would say a barrier, yes, but then also on the other side, very loving and open. I mean, the first day we met her at the home, she grabbed my hand and just took me away from everybody else to show me her bed and her stuff. And so, yeah, she just, and from what we had heard stories, and Evelyn would say it too, like she had a temper. And
no, we've seen elements of that. We've seen elements of that pop out. But I tell you what, and this has been one of the most amazing things to me. I've never been I'm not an animal person. If you ask anybody in my family.
And yet we have a farm with
a farm. We
so
have a
many.
zoo. We have a zoo. We have so many animals. It's like we bought a zoo. Anyways, I've never been one to be big on like, oh, animals are therapy and da-da-da-da-da. But I have absolutely seen the power of animal therapy in her life. Like, she loves animals, and there's a connection there that I am learning about and I'm fascinated with. It is connected to her in a way that I've not seen, and it has opened her up and caused her to, and I think a lot of it is she's able to love on these creatures, these animals that God has given us.
The Evelyn way.
Yeah.
She told me the other day, she's like, Mama, when people don't like dogs, this is what they do. And when people like dogs, this is what they do. And
Thanks.
You're welcome. But she just is able to love on those animals as she's kind of rough. I mean, when she comes to hug you, it's like hard and tight and squeezing and.
Yeah, and you can see when she's having a tough day, you know where you'll find her. She'll be out there with the animals. She'll be riding the horse, or she'll be petting the horse, and
or if she's having a moment where she's like, I'm gonna go walk the dogs. I'm like, great, go walk the dogs. That's good. And then she comes back and she's
a different
smiling
person.
and a totally different person.
And so sometimes we notice when she's getting a little heated, and this is that being attentive. We're being attentive, and it's like, hey, Evelyn,
in her eyes,
you might want to go walk the dogs and go enjoy some time with the dogs. And she does. She's
thankful.
She's
for
thankful, and she'll boom, she's gone, and she's walking the dogs and really enjoying it. And then there's her and Gabriella they're like buddies. I mean, they have piled up, and it's like, Gabriella, it's been so neat. So before we adopted, she was like, I just want a friend. I want a friend. Gabriella wanted a friend. And Gabriella's a little bit younger. And so Evelyn sees herself as the older sister, and she has fallen into that role, and she truly loves Gabriella, and they love each other. And you see one, you see the other. And then sometimes you don't. Sometimes Gabriella's playing by herself, and then Evelyn's with Kelsey, and she's Kelsey's sidekick. And they're learning how to do something in the kitchen together. And it's been really neat. And Joseph is he's a tinkerer. He loves to tinker.
And I feel like he can kind of get in the mix of the family, really quiet a lot of times.
Kind of overlooked. I would say he can sometimes be overlooked because he's so quiet and he's
not loud. He's just in the middle of it.
And he loves to please everybody in the family. He doesn't want to be one that's ever in trouble.
Kind.
He is like, if Gabriella or any of the girls are going to walk somewhere or go somewhere, he's like, do you need me to walk you? I'll walk you over there.
He protects them.
He's the protector. And even sometimes wrestling.
Oh, if we're wrestling or Dad's wrestling or the kids are attacking me or something, he's
the defender. He will defend the girls of the household. He is the defender.
And he does it with a smile, but you know that he takes it seriously.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't get angry about it, but he's very serious about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Vivian is thoughtful and sweet and obedient and helpful, and she's loves the Lord. She's kind.
She's an incredible blessing. She really is. She's also
an
very
encourager. Sorry.
And I would say very motherly. She loves to help with the younger kids, and all of them. I mean, she jumps in and helps with Gabriella. She'll jump in, and what's neat now is 6 months this didn't happen, but 2 years into this now, it's like Vivian and Jacob will correct any of the children under them, correct any of them, and Vivian and Jacob know the rules of the house, as does everybody, but
We encourage
they're the
that.
enforcers, and they will tell them, hey, don't do that, you'll get in trouble, or
Also, Vivian and Gabriella share a closet, which is great because Vivian is very clean and organized, and Gabriella is just a mess.
and she'll come up, Mama, Gabriella is such a mess, and it's so funny. And she'll spend hours cleaning the
her
closet.
and Gabriella, and she'll get her in there, and she's teaching her, and I encourage Vivian. Vivian, Gabriella needs help in this, and Vivian takes that, and she does really well.
Teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, he was, if I'm honest, he was the one I was probably the most reserved about, because I was like, this is a 16-year-old boy. Of course, he's 16 now.
Yeah.
I think he was 14 or 15 at the time. We brought him home, and I was like, am I even going to have time to teach him anything? Am I going to have any time to even pour into him? And that was always my concern. It's like when we were adopting, it's like I felt like I wanted younger children because I felt like I wanted.
Gives you more time.
It gives me more time to pour into
shepherd
them.
their heart.
Yeah. And so I was concerned about that, and I was also concerned about how much his worldview was already shaped, and I'll say that from 6 months, first 6 months has been amazing, just connecting and getting to know him as a person and what makes him tick and what doesn't, and now seeing the deeper level of his heart and how his heart is changing, and how having a family has just brought him to life. In the sense that he is more. Here's an interesting story. Like when he first came in, we're like, "Hey, one day you might be a boss at Holtz. Like you might be a boss." And he's like, and it's like his head's just down. He's like, "No, never a boss, never a boss." And so
It's like, that's not me.
That's just not me. Now he's the boss. Like he comes in and he starts bossing. He takes control of the household. He's bossing.
Hey, don't do that. Hey,
he has.
And we're like, okay, Jacob, you're doing great, but make sure you say please. And
But
he doesn't mean to be.
He has great confidence in himself. He's been working with, which I love this, and we're very much multi-generational. We believe it's important to connect with all elements of our family, and so Levi and Jacob go with my dad, and my dad is a woodsmith. He is an expert turner on a lathe, a wood turner on a lathe. And my dad has offered to bring the boys in and teach them a trade, the trade of turning on a lathe. And they go every single Friday. They go with Grandpa, and they spend the entire day with my dad.
They eat a lot of food.
Junk food, which we do not eat in our house. And so they get away with a lot. And
but they come home with some amazing things that they've made together.
Beautiful pieces. And their skill is becoming better and better, and it's building this confidence, and you can see it. So we've recently allowed him to, because his quality it's taken a long time. So this just didn't happen overnight. He's been working with my dad a long time. And I told him, if Dad passes the quality, he's been turning pins. It's like, if Dad passes the pin quality, you can put them in the store and sell them in the store, our retail store. And so he put his first pin in there, and he asked what he should price it at, and I told him, and he put it in the store, and it sold the first day. First day, gone. He was like on cloud 9. He's like, I'm gonna make 1,000 of these. And it's like, he's gonna make 1 billion pins.
And I get to have all the money.
And I get all the money. And I was like,
he starts counting up.
And I'm like, okay. I was like, whoa. I was like, let's talk about this. I was like, let me explain to you the process of how business works. There are a lot of hands, there are a lot of people that touch this. And I said, profit on an item is usually very, very small. And then so I was explaining to him. I said, however, if you're learning, and I want to invest in you. I think you're great. I think you have great potential. So everything you sell in the store, I will let you have 100% of if you reinvest it into your trade. So you have to buy equipment, you have to buy tools, or more cost of goods to make products to sell in the store. You can't keep it. And when we get to a point where your shop is built and you have everything you need, then we can discuss how much you can retain of it after it's sold. And so he was like really excited.
He loved that.
Recently, before we came to the beach, I think he put I forget how many pins in the shop, but I think he's up to he has $400 or $500 now that he has sold in the retail shop. And he has picked out a drill press that he wants, because that's the one tool he's missing to be able to do everything in his own shop. So he's already been building out his own shop. Him and Levi both have their own lathes. There's 2 lathes. They have different tools. They have everything they need for making pens and all that right downstairs. And after school, you'll hear the lathe under the house
That's
going to
where
work.
they
That's
are.
where they are. Or they're on the ranger buzzing around our property looking for trees to cut down so that they can get the
Or
wood to
Jacob
turn
will
bowls.
go around with his tree book, and he is learning all the.
Oh my
different
goodness,
trees.
we're walking down the
Blows
road
my
and he's like,
mind.
Dad, that's a pin oak. That's a chestnut oak. This is and he's starting to know, and he takes great pride in it. It's been neat to see his heart develop and his love develop. He's kind, he's sweet, he's thoughtful. This is a hard one for us because we are not planners in the sense that I don't make 10-year plans. I don't make 5-year plans. I'm a whiteboard 1-year planner. And whiteboard because I can erase it, and I can erase it quick. And if you ask any of the people that work with me at Holtz, they'll tell you real quick, they think I have multiple personalities because I change my mind so much. We are on the fly. In fact, this beach trip was completely on the fly.
Found a house and we booked it.
It's like, hey, what do you want to do next week? It's like, well, let's go to the beach. See if there's anything available. And she's like, yep, there's something. It's like, let's go. And we're gone. It's like, well, who's going to take care of the animals? We got all these animals. Like, we'll figure it out. And we do. And then it's actually, for me, I think it's
a high
part of
that you like.
It is. It's excitement because it just creates this buzz because you come home, it's like, all right, we're going to the beach. We got to figure out how to make it work. And everybody starts like, okay, well, we could do this, or I could call this person, and then the family starts doing what the family does. We work together to make it happen. We set the goal, we go, but our goals are short term. They're very like 1 week out, maybe a month out at most. So 10 years is hard.
I
But
hope to have a lot of grandkids and, I mean, just still have a house full.
I'd never want to have.
There's always, I hope and pray, there's always going to be food on the table and bring your friends, bring family, and just, it's a safe place. It's where you can just come and just be like, oh, I'm home.
I love it. I never don't want to have I don't want to ever have an empty house. Never want to have an empty house. I want my house to be filled, and it is filled with precious jewels right now.
I mean, don't get us wrong. I mean, if the kids are gone or they're out and we're like, it's quiet.
That's an enjoyable moment too.
And we just sit and we're like, it's quiet. But then
we're ready. We're ready to love on kids. And I would say that it's very, very possible that we will adopt again. We'll be involved in the adoption process again as we start aging out some of our children and they start moving on in their life. Madison, our oldest, is already married and moved out, but she stays close, and we love that. And that's what we want. We want our family unit to stay close. It's very important that we maintain that context, because I'm going to tell you right now, I will be involved in shepherding my grandchildren. That will be very important to me, because as a grandfather, I think I have an important role in the family as the patriarch of the family, and I want to be very.
Seriously.
That's a serious calling. It's a serious responsibility, and I love it, and I look forward to it. All right, Jacob. Would you ever consider adopting, and why?
Yes, I will. And because I was adopted first, and because I love saying mom and daddy, and when you are an orphan, you don't have the opportunity to do that. And and because I love to have somebody to share my stuff and be with, and yeah.
You've a record of making you guys try twice now. Good job.
All right, Vivian, back to you. So tell us how you felt before.
Before I got adopted, I was a little scared. At the point I didn't know if I was gonna be adopted, and I did not want it to be separated from my siblings. So I was kind of scared of that, and I didn't know how my family would be, or if they would love us as they love their family. But yeah, I was kind of scared, although I trusted in the Lord. I let Him guide my life. Love having a big family where we love the Lord and where we share everything together.
Yeah, I love our new size family. It feels like it's always been all of us.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like all of my memories of before we went to Costa Rica and before we had all the ticos, like I think of like being at Madison's wedding. Like we didn't have the ticos yet, but my mind like autofills and puts them there. And I'll talk to Vivian or Jacob and be like, yeah, you remember when at Maddie's wedding when we did this? And she's like, I wasn't there, but like in my mind they've always been there and always been a part of our family, and I really love that.
This is our final episode for a while. We've been back 2 years. We'll probably do another one at the 5-year mark, and probably another one at the 10-year mark, God willing. But we just want to encourage families that are out there that are thinking about adopting, that it is a worthy cause. It is needed. There's great need in the world. Whether you're doing domestically, international, it doesn't matter. Go love on some kids, bring them into your home. We all have a lot to give, and we're here to help in any way that we can. We are more than happy to answer questions. We get a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls, Zoom calls that we love to take, and we can only handle so many of them, but we do try to take as many as we can, and love to be a help. What do you say?
It's been fun and amazing and hard, and it's kind of sad. I can't believe it's been 2 years. It just blows my mind, but then it again feels like they've always been with us.